Well, hello there, and you join us here today to find a watch. But what watch? The most value-packed watch in the world. If you're looking for lots of value in your watches, you'll see a bunch of them just below the video. You can purchase any one of those or many more over at watchfinder.com. Tom, when it comes to spending money, I think I, like you, to get as many things back in return for it as possible. So I, for example, am a firm believer in penny sweets because I feel like I can get a big bag of sweets for not very much money, unless it's the cinema. And it's that kind of rhetoric and consumer advice that we are here to give to our dear viewer and listener, but by way of watches. Tom, what does value packed mean to you?
You're not using those sweets to lure anyone, are you? Value packed. Yes, I'm like you. I like to get more stuff back. I like to be long changed, if that's a term.
Okay. I feel like you're theming yourself here a little bit. I feel like this is a little bit of premonition, a bit of foreshadowing.
So my favourite value packed watch is, of course, the G-Shock, which is, just shy of £100 and has all the gubbins, more alarms than anyone could possibly need, radioactive technology, whatever, blue teeth,
all the Nordic technologies.
Yeah, but that's not what I'm talking about. Because there's this other one, right? I actually saw this on the wrist of a gentleman and I said, wow, what's that? Is that a perpetual calendar?
Did he say, please get away from me, this may be public transport, but you don't have the right to sit quite so close?
He would go on to say that. But initially he was friendly and he said, this is a Longines Master Collection watch. And it's £3,400. And I said, oh my goodness. And I grappled with him and sort of took his wrist to inspect the watch. I said, how did you come by this? And he said, well, it's very simple. It's not a perpetual calendar, but it does have a lot of functionality. And proceeded to tell me all about it. And I was staggered.
And this man went on to become President of the United States.
King of all 7 seas, bar one, which he's disputing.
It's public domain, Tom. Get over it.
This is the worst start to a podcast ever. Right. So this watch, the Longines Master Collection, it's a simple watch, round in shape, 40mm in diameter, stainless steel, nice sort of sunbursty dial. Nice exhibition case back to see the movement. The movement looks fairly unassuming from the back, but it's packing some serious functionality. Let me rattle it off to you now. Hours, minutes, small seconds with 24-hour indicator at 9 o'clock. Date indicated by the half moon central hand moon phase display at 6 o'clock. Chronograph mechanism, central 60-second hand moon phase display with 12-hour counter at 6 o'clock and 30-minute counter with day and month display at 12 o'clock. So yeah, some really cool stuff. Chronographs, moon phases, big pointer date, but looks really, really legible for all that stuff crammed into it. It's actually a beautifully clean dial. Yeah, you've got big date windows, moon phases, loads of hands, but beautiful blue applied indices and hands on that shimmery silver brush dial. It's a beautiful watch. And all of that for just £3,400. That is the kind of value that we're talking about. You might think that that is quite a high amount, but for the heritage of a Longines, it's a very old and prestigious brand, making some wonderful timepieces. This is extremely elegant. If you wear it, you will be in the company of some of the ambassadors of elegance, such as Jennifer Lawrence and Anne Winslet and Jean Page and the others.
I love the Hungry Times films. They were great. And if that wasn't enough, it also has a silicon balance spring for lovely anti-magnetic juiciness and a 66-hour power reserve. What can't this watch do?
Yeah, I failed to mention that. The man did say that, but I forgot about it in the melee.
You were too overwhelmed by his beauty. Oh, my headphone fell out. Now, unless the British schooling system has massively let me down, I believe there are 11 separate displays on this watch, which puts the price at just over £300 per display, which is crazy. And added to that enormous value, wearing this watch also makes you look like the kind of person who traverses the globe in a hot air balloon.
That's what I'm going for.
I think you're doing a very good job, Tom, of accentuating your eccentric aesthetic, carry on with that. And while you do, allow me to present you with this. This is the Carl F. Bucherer Heritage by Compacts Annual. Now, you might say Bucherer, I might say Bucherer, I might say Bucherer. Who knows how it's pronounced? I don't think anyone actually knows. I think it's a secret.
Bucherer.
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 Bucherer, fine Italian cheese.
Baccarat.
What isn't a secret though, Tom, is that this is a 41mm watch in stainless steel, and it contains 3 of the major complication groups. So like with food, you've got your fruit, you've got your veg, and you've got your fizzies.
Yeah.
This has a big date whereby the date display is big, separated in numbers 1 and 2 to create a display that is very prominent at the top of the dial.
Legible.
It also has a chronograph, which is collecting your hours and your minutes ad hoc for, you know, whatever you fancy timing. Most specifically, I think eggs is usually what people do for this. But it's, do you know what? It's your own choosing what you would like to time with this. You can even measure things like speed using the tachymeter scale around the outside. But that all seems pretty good so far. But let me throw in the final complication, which is an annual calendar. Let me be clear, I'm not talking about a complete calendar whereby it shows the date and the week and the month, but you have to fiddle those around every time one of them falls out of sync with our uneven calendar. This watch, apart from the end of February, will keep track of the longer and shorter months every year. So you only have to set it once per year.
That is good.
To set the scene, let me tell you something.
Go on.
The Patek Philippe annual calendar, their annual calendar costs £46,000. If you were to add a chronograph to that for Patek Philippe, it costs £60,000. Both of those are lots of thousands of pounds.
Yeah.
This watch costs £6,600 for a big date chronograph annual calendar. Yes, it's based on a bought-in movement, which is what brings the cost down, but for that functionality, it does all those things. It doesn't do it for very much. I will also throw in there as well, in case you needed any more sweetening on this watch. This is the same Bucherer as is owned by Rolex now. So you are buying a Rolex chronograph, yes, for £6,600.
I admire your mental gymnastics.
I'm very flexible.
It's a pretty watch. Lovely. I like the name Bucherer. It sounds fancy. And I like their logo as well. It reminds me of the free photo editing app that you might get when you buy a digital camera. That's a bonus. That sits right with me.
Yeah, good to have a logo that is the shape and colour of a rusty star.
Shame. You ruin everything.
I do, and hopefully I haven't ruined these 2 great value watches for you. Dear viewer and listener, what would you consider to be the most value-packed watch in the world today? Let me know down in the comments below. Again, while you're there, check out the watches we've got for sale. Also check out watchfinder.com, linked in the description. Thank you and goodbye.